Hi guys, if you're new here, my name is Sam and I make videos about makeup, chronic illness, and whatever I want. And today is going to be like a multiple things video. It's going to be a chatty get ready with me with a life update. And I'm going to be trying out these Scooby-Doo Glamlite palettes. I'm going to do one palette on each eye. I've never tried Glamlite before, so this is me testing out their formula. I know they did say these are slightly different than the regular formula, but my hair looks like a hot mess. I am a hot mess. I have this cystic breakout happening. I took a little list here, so I kind of semi-stay on topic. I'm not really gonna talk about exactly what I'm doing. I need to wash my brushes desperately. I have been a bit of a mess, which is where I'm gonna start this video. Trying to figure out my new pacing requirements has been a bit of a challenge. And not because I don't know how to do it. I do know how to do it. I'm going to pin this back, as ridiculous as it might look, but these tiny hairs are in my way. I know how to pace. I think the difficult thing for me is I figured out my pacing for pre-long illness and everything was going well. I understood it. I could do it without thinking about it. It was just kind of a second nature thing for me. And I guess I, in a sense, took it for granted a little bit because now I have something completely new and different that I almost don't know how to handle, because I'm kind of just rambling here because my brain is not working, and we're gonna get to that in a little while. I didn't have to think much in the past once I learned what my limits were. And now I'm just kind of autopiloting like the old limits, and it's too much for me to handle. And I keep crashing or having mini crashes or anything like that, and it's not good to keep crashing. And it's just getting a little like emotionally frustrating because I'm expecting more of my body than what it can do. And I shouldn't be upset with my body. Obviously it's working very hard for me, but anyone in this situation understands just how frustrating it is to lose your abilities at all. And then to lose more later on. My battery is dying. I don't know if I'm going to keep the lighting this bright. This is like quite bright. We'll see. Where was I? Oh yeah. So anyone who has lost any kind of mobility or anything like that knows that it's a devastating loss, and then you adjust to it and it happens another time. It's just a massive blow. I took some time off to recover from all of those Halloween videos. I'm out of breath from doing that. We'll get to that too. I just wanted a little time to undecorate and be able to put up my Christmas decor. I know a lot of people think it's too early for Christmas. I enjoy Christmas, even though I'm also Jewish. Just like Christmas decorations. But I have to go so slow that I need to start early because I like to go a little bit bananas with my decor. So before, it would take me probably like 2 or so days, 2 or 3 days to decorate. And now it's taking me, I started on Tuesday and I'm still not done. I've been doing a little every day, but like that isn't what my old pacing was, so it's been kind of difficult, especially because before it was like I could decorate, etc., etc., and now it's very much like literally all I can do is decorate, where before I could, you know, kind of clean as I go or something like that. I cannot do that now. It is truly just, I can decorate a little bit and then I just have to rest for the rest of the day. So I feel like I'm very behind on all the other things I need to do. And God forbid if there's like an appointment that I need to do, like that's literally all that's happening. I've been doing okay emotionally for the most part. I've been trying not to get frustrated with myself though, which I think is the hardest part. Like, I'm not neglecting or denying myself emotions or feeling emotions, but I am denying myself the right to be angry with myself, because that's just, it's goofy and it's pointless and it's just not fair to me to be upset with my body that is taking care of me, you know? So I know I've had a lot of people ask for more pacing type videos, and that will definitely be coming because I'm pretty much relearning it myself. So, oh boy, glob. So yeah, there will be those videos coming because I'll be learning my new stuff and it will be kind of easy to share with other people. Let's just get right into the memory issues, because I didn't write any kind of script, but I had all these things I wanted to say for like that little portion of pacing, and I get in here and my brain just farts. Yeah, I drop my sponge, I get distracted by the lighting. It's a whole fiasco. My memory has not been great since I got sick in 2007. Like, you know, ME/CFS just comes with memory issues. However, since I got long illness, it's slightly different with long illness. You know, I've had my brain fog and my memory issues with ME/CFS since 2007, give or take. This one is kind of wild, and sometimes it's hard to not like get upset. I'm not comparing it to like dementia or Alzheimer's, but the frustration you feel is probably similar, because you will literally be talking like this and then your brain just, it's not even that you're forgetting things, your brain just completely goes blank and you're like, what was I even doing? It's not what was I saying, I don't even remember what subject it was. And it's not like I paused and I was like, oh, I forget what I was gonna say. I forget, like, just forget, like, I sometimes can't think of simple words that are part of my everyday vocabulary, and probably a little scary for some people. I mean, if I think about it too hard, it's scary for me too. I just try not to think about it too much, but it's very strange, and that has also just not necessarily been difficult, but it has added an extra challenge. You might see this cart, but like, you'll just have to live. So it's added an extra challenge, because sometimes you're just like, I don't know what I was saying or doing, or on top of the extra fatigue situation. Well, that was way more than I wanted. Oh boy. This is pigmented. There it goes right there. I have no idea where I was going with that thought. We'll just move on, because I don't know what I was gonna say. It's been a thing, a difficult challenge. Let's see what the next thing I was gonna talk about was. Okay, this one, it's not the order I was going to say it in. Let's go into just like mental health in general, seeing as I was talking about, you know, a little bit. I did EMDR therapy, which, if you aren't familiar with what that is, it's a specific type of memory and trauma therapy. It's a lot of work and it's very emotionally taxing, but it works really well. It was well worth everything that it required from me. But it's kind of an ongoing process. So you do a bit of it and then you take some time to let your brain unpack a bunch of stuff, reprocess it with your therapist during it, but then there's a lot of reprocessing for a month, like multiple months, or even up to a year afterwards. So my therapist ended up moving and we wrapped up together in, I want to say August, but as we just discussed, I don't know. And that felt like a good time for me to take a small break so I could let my brain continue healing itself, unpacking things, and then working through it kind of on my own. Because it was getting to the point that we did what we wanted to do, because you don't want to do too much EMDR because it can just be overwhelming for your brain and kind of be counterintuitive. So we did what we were going to do and then we stopped, and it got to the point with my weekly sessions that it was like there wasn't really anything new or different to talk about. It was kind of just me figuring out like not the same things, but just kind of, oh, this reminded me of this, and then, you know, I just have to like work through that. There wasn't really much, I guess, that therapy was helping with, because before you can start EMDR, you can't just like go into it. You have to go through, this is what I'm talking about, guys. Like almost a little screening to see if you're a candidate. And by that, it means like, do you have okay coping skills? Like, do you know how to cope with distress? Like, if you end up having like a panic attack or something, are you able to get out of that yourself, etc.? Because if you haven't, like, this was not my first round of therapy. I've done therapy many times. So I've learned quite a bit over the years, but let's say you hadn't and you were very new. If you jumped right into that, it could cause more traumas rather than healing traumas. So there's a whole screening process, etc. And I completely have forgotten where I was going with that. But because I have all these coping mechanisms that I'm very familiar with and that I use regularly, it was kind of like she broke those walls for me to do the work on my own. And because I'm kind of in that moment now, I'm taking a brief break. I don't know for how long. I'll know when I'm ready from therapy to just like work on things like setting boundaries and unpacking traumas and healing my relationship with myself, healing my relationship with my body, with food, some exposure therapy with some things that cause me anxiety. It has been a very enlightening experience and it has been really great. But in the beginning, I will say it was not necessarily distressing, but there was some stress factors that went along with it, because there's just, what was I saying? I wish you could tell me what I was saying. It's bad today, man. Okay. I'm just going to segue into something else because I have no damn idea where I was going with that. As I'm going through and learning and unlearning, you know, figuring out areas that I need to work on, because I'm not over here claiming I'm the Queen of England or anything. Like, well, she had flaws too, but like I'm a flawed human. And I have plenty of things that I need to work on as well. I'm no better than anyone else. So what I'm focusing on now is unlearning behaviors, healing all sorts of traumas, etc., which is very time consuming. And I have noticed some people aren't quite prepared for the new version of me. I'm going to start with the Ruh-Roh Raggy palette, which I'm pretty sure is the green based one. Yes, I love that the monster in here is Creeper. I love the Creeper. So I'm going to start with the greens. I'm going to start with like the light green. I understand that not everyone is doing this maliciously, although there are definitely some people in my life who have done it maliciously. I'm in the process of like changing how some of my relationships work. But I understand because people treat you the way that you allow them. Because I was a people pleaser and kind of emotionally immature, I haven't been treated by people how I want or expect. And now that I'm in a place where I can demand and present my expectations, people are a little taken aback because for so much of my life, like, that hasn't been a thing, you know, like, they haven't had to do that. And so, sorry, I'm clanging around. It's almost like a little, well, who do you think you are? And it isn't necessarily a reflection of them because, like I said, people treat you the way you tell them they can treat you. And for so much of my life, I was the people pleaser. I let people walk all over me. I let people use me and only be my friend when they needed things. So it isn't strictly their fault in all instances because that was how the relationship was set up. So with some individuals, when I first started setting expectations and boundaries, it wasn't going over bad, but it was kind of like there was some hesitancy and some pushback. But once I became consistent with most people, it went quite well. However, there are some individuals who were consciously seeing my people-pleasing abilities and taking advantage of it. Now, most of the people in my life, like I mentioned, were just going where I was leading them. There was no malicious intent. They just did the things I allowed them to do and didn't think twice about it. But there have been people in my life who consciously saw that I allowed them to do things that resulted in treating me poorly, and they enjoyed that. Now, those are the people who have not respected my boundaries, have not changed with me, do things like give me the silent treatment, leave me on red, passive aggressive, mumbo jumbo. And it's very much telling me who they are and that things aren't going to change. And it's my decision now what role these individuals play in my life. And for a while it was just leave it, you know, don't rock the boat, etc. And I have no hard feelings here because it isn't about me. It doesn't involve me. It's not a me situation. And I'm not holding grudges. I'm not expecting anyone to change. I'm not angry. I'm just done. I just spent the first portion of this video explaining about how limited I am physically these days, and honestly mentally, because my memory is not exactly my friend right now. So it isn't when I want to do anymore. Like, try to reset boundaries with people who don't care. Like, when you set boundaries, people who aren't aware of the boundaries, you are going to have to repeat yourself. People aren't know-it-alls. They need help remembering. That's just like what it is. And it isn't that they don't care. It's just kind of like learning a new skill or a new habit. You need regular reminders. But what you will notice is each correction will result in it happening less or less severe. Like, there will be improvements with each reminder, unless those people just don't care to honor your boundaries. Again, like, we're all gonna fuck up. That's just how it is. But it will be less severe and less often each time, except for those people who just don't care and they have no respect for your boundary. You'll notice that they just continue to do it with the same severity and the same frequency as before. And those are the type of people I'm talking about right now. And those are the types of people I have no space for any longer. Like I said, it's no hard feelings. I'm not trying to get revenge. I'm not calling anyone out with this. It isn't anything. It is just something that I have worked on with a lot of therapy to realize that it was causing me so much emotional distress to have people around who purposely wanted to upset or misunderstand me. And I can't make anyone see me in a way they don't want to see me. That isn't my business. It isn't my purpose. It's, it is what it is. But I don't have to welcome that into my personal life directly, There's a bit of fallout, but you could just do your base afterwards. So I am just trying to quietly, peacefully do what's best for me while working on me. I understand that I have plenty of flaws myself. I tend to give unsolicited advice to people I care about. I tend to have expectations of people without telling them what said expectations are, and then getting upset when they don't meet expectations. These are all things I'm also working on. I'm not over here saying like, oh, people who do this thing are bad and I'm good. Like, that's not what it is. What it actually is I'm growing and I want to do better and treat people better. And if there are individuals around me who are not on that same journey and are not trying to do that as well, then I don't have space for them. And that's just how it is. Also, it's not a requirement to better yourself. Like, it's not a law, but I can't grow and be better and treat people better when I'm surrounded by people who feed my bad habits. I will take part in it, like all of us do. And I don't want to do that. So I need to remove it. I need to, I have expectations now for how I will be treated, and I understand other people do, and I might not fit that. I might not meet the expectations someone in my life has, and that's okay. Like, would it hurt? Sure, but like, because I'm on the same journey myself, I'm not going to be upset with other people for doing the same thing I'm doing. These are blending really nice, by the way. I'm just trying to get like my idea of a gradient. I have in the last year ended or started to end or disappeared from the lives of people close to me, and it hasn't been easy, and it isn't a decision I take lightly, and it isn't me overreacting, and it isn't malicious, it isn't thinking I'm better than anyone, it isn't any of those things. It's just I'm getting to a point where some of the relationships in my life, whether it's friends, family, adopted family, like anyone who has access to me, I'm not what you need and you're not what I need, and it isn't hard feelings. We all have different requirements for what is best for us, and it's, you know, it just is what it is. And I know that no matter what I say, some people are just going to be upset about it, and I'm going to be the villain, but I'm okay at this point in my life being the villain in someone else's story, because you can't change someone else's perception of you, and you just have to be okay with that. Like, whatever people are going to think or say is not your business. You just have to keep doing what's best for you and striving to be a good person, and that's where I'm at. And there's going to be bumps and there's going to be hurt feelings, and I understand that some people's egos may be bruised or this might be taken personally or something, but it's just kind of like, I'm willing to give some people second chances. I'm willing to try, but like, there's been some instances where it's like I've been trying for decades or my entire life, and it shouldn't be on me to regularly tell people like I deserve to be treated better. Like, you need to figure that out on your own. And I'm very open to, you know, if you do the work and you change, like, sure, like, we can try talking again, but I can't be your free therapist, and I can't keep reminding you, like, hey, you're doing this thing again in the exact same way, like, and you're not respecting me, and it's just, I don't want to do free emotional labor. It's not fair to myself. So, segueing from that, seeing as, you know, I was talking about people pleasers, while in therapy, I got the diagnosis of autism, which surprised me at first and still until we started diving into it, and then it didn't surprise me at all. And a mild ADHD. Like, it's there, but it's mild. Like, I don't need medication or anything. Like, so part of my healing journey and everything else that I'm doing has been through the mind of what works for a neurodivergent person. And a lot of my people pleasing has come from me thinking like that's how people like you, that's how you have relationships, that's how, etc., etc. And my emotional needs, or things like stimming, or things that I have tried to stuff down in myself because it makes people uncomfortable, like how excited I get or how loud I talk, or being a know-it-all. I don't know, if you're interested, I can do a whole video about like my specific autism. I can't speak for all autistic individuals, but it manifests differently for sure in women, and I could give my personal experience if anyone is interested. Just let me know in the comments. In a sense, it's like having to, you're like discovering yourself for the first time and kind of almost like relearning life through a lens that benefits you and not just the rest of the world. Because my brain just is different. It works different. It has different needs. It has different requirements, especially when it comes to relationships. And it's been eye-opening and relieving to just know that I am not alone and there's nothing wrong with me. I've spent my entire life trying to force myself to just be normal, and I couldn't understand why my brain didn't work like everyone else's, why I couldn't force myself to do things, why I couldn't, you know, X, Y, and Z. And so this has just been super enlightening and helpful on like my healing journey. to, you know, look at it a different way and realize that I'm not broken and that, like, yes, I have flaws and I have things I need to work on like everyone else, but it isn't because, like, my brain is broken, which is how I looked at it for so long. Also, I've always been told, like, how, like, blunt I am, and I've never had, like, a ton of permanent friends. That had a lot of fallout. I don't know if you can see. So I always thought certain things were wrong with me, but, like, that isn't what it is. Because the weird thing is, I never have a hard time making friends. I've always just had a hard time keeping friends. And I realized it's because I was masking and I was pretty much mirroring them. So obviously they liked me at first because I was just showing them exactly what they wanted to see. I was showing them. But once I started to be myself, it was kind of like, not off-putting because I'm a bad person, but just kind of like, oh. Anyway, if you are interested in, like, a more in-depth video about that, just let me know. So, next up, let's talk about the holidays, because it's November, and, like I mentioned, holiday decorating already, which I'm sure some of you probably groaned. I really like the holidays. The holidays have always been a big part of my life, and there were a few years where I kind of fell out of the spirit for various reasons, but I'm back. I'm back, baby. I am going to be giving myself a 3-week vacation for the holidays. It's really easy when you're a content creator to not have breaks at all. You just kind of just keep going and going until you burn out, and then you're like, I want to quit. And so it's very important to give yourself vacations like in any other job. I am Jewish, as I mentioned, not really religiously. I don't know where I stand religiously, but we're not here to discuss that. Hanukkah starts on the 18th of December and goes through the 26th, and then obviously you have all the holidays like Christmas, Christmas Eve, New Year's. So I'm going to be taking a vacation from the 18th through January 10th, I think, will be my first upload. So my first video will be the second week of January, because I was going to come back the Friday after New Year's, which I think is like the 6th. Wow, I can't speak. I think it's the 6th. But I remembered that I might need a whole week to undecorate from Christmas. And I leave my decorations up until the 1st because I don't know if this is true, but growing up, I learned that at least some people think that it's good luck, like German, at least German American, or my German American, it's good luck to leave up your decorations until the 1st of the year. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm moving on to this side now, and it will be the Creeps and Crawls palette, which looks like this. This is gorgeous. If I decided to post that Friday, I'd have to film during the week, and yeah, I wouldn't have the energy. So yes, I will be absent until from December 18th through, and let me look at a calendar. The last video you'll get from me is December 16th, and then I will post my first video on January 10th. So I'm gonna get a nice little break. I will actually be working during that. You're just not going to see any of it. Now that we talked about that, let's talk about 2023 a tiny bit. We're all aware of the economy. This isn't Business Insider, but I think we're all pretty aware of what's happening right now. And so, not to be like all these big YouTubers who like have money and it's just trendy to be like, I'm going on a no-buy, I'm going on a bleh. Just because like their viewers are like, hey, you're kind of a piece of shit for talking about all this stuff you buy all the time. I'm not one of those people. I'm not wealthy. The economy is hitting me just as hard as everyone else. I'm literally gonna go on a low buy next year because I'm kind of at this place where I'm happy with my collection, and it's easy to get caught up in the FOMO. It's easy to want more. It's easy to, you know, not really compare to things you have in your collection, etc. And that isn't a fault of anyone. My carpal tunnel is making this difficult. I did one eye and it's like, that's enough, girlfriend. So 2023, I am doing a low buy because I just really want to utilize the stuff that I have in my collection. I just want to be more conscious because also, like, nobody has any idea what the economy is doing next year. Is it going to get better? Is it going to get worse? Is it going to stay the same? Nobody knows. Nobody has any idea. It seems goofy to, you know, just buy a bunch of stuff I don't need. I would like to really give my collection the love it deserves instead of, like, getting behind. Like, I have some stuff that I know I will use and it's not wasted, but it was like limited edition and I bought it before it went out of stock forever. Like, specifically those BH cosmetic, like, sweet shop thingies. But the issue is, like, there are some of them I haven't used yet because, like, so much other new stuff that I tried and I needed for specific videos, like my Halloween videos, like, needed specific makeup, like color stories, etc. Like, these things just haven't really been used yet. So I would love to spend next year just, like, really utilizing my collection and making sure that I love everything in it. And if I don't, do another declutter. I don't have strict rules for my low buy. It's mostly going to be replacements, you know, like my foundations, stuff I run out of, or stuff that has expired that needs replacing, like mascara. You know, if Melt has their sale around my birthday, then, you know, snag the few palettes that I want from them. Other than that, I would really like to save my budget, and not even, you know, necessarily my entire budget that I have every year, but like to save my budget for the end of the year when all the big collections come out, when there's sales, when there's etc. Maybe something like replacements throughout the year, maybe something in April, and then try to not, unless it's fantastic, have to have it, oh my god, I'll hate myself if I don't get it. Try to not really buy anything until, you know, October, November, and even then be pretty picky about what I'm getting. I know everyone's making these announcements, ooh, I'm going on a low buy, I'm going on a no buy, and like, they're channels with hundreds of thousands of viewers, and you know they're getting like PR. I'm not getting PR, I don't get PR. So yeah, I'm not announcing this to be like cool and trendy and being like, oh, look at me, I'm doing a no buy, I'm, you know, I'm just like you. I am literally just like you. I have like 200 subscribers, which, by the way, holy crap, thank you. Like, if you are a subscriber, you are the absolute best. It means so much to me. Like, I had no idea that I was going to reach these milestones this year, and I'm just kind of speechless. When I reach a larger number of followers, I'd like to do some kind of like giveaway. I think that would be cool. Thank you so much for everyone who is here, who is watching, who is subscribed, who comments, who, like, you're great. And if you're not subscribed, maybe you should consider it. I would appreciate it very much. All right, I want like pink lipstick. Where? Also, if you can see this, I had really dry lips, and because I'm a monster, I picked it. Good enough. I have very uneven lips, and you can't tell are that uneven until I put lipstick on, and then it's like this side is like half the size of the other side. But then this side looks slightly small now that I slightly over lined this one. But if I just keep going back and forth, I'm going to mess it up. So thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And I will see you guys next time.